The Jason universe from Horror Inc. just released a short film on YouTube called Sweet Revenge, and it is getting fans clamoring for a new Friday the 13th film that we have not had since 2009. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my pitch for a new Friday the 13th film. Let's get after it. Yeah! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cinema Sermons. My name is Kevin, and today we are going to be talking about what I think should be done if they make a new Friday the 13th film. Are they going to listen to me? Absolutely not. Are they even going to make a new Friday the 13th movie? Probably not. Right now, they're kind of working on the TV series, what's it called? Crystal Lake TV series, because of a lot of the rights issues and stuff like that, and I'm not going to get into that. There are some great videos on YouTube that will explain all of the legality and rights issues as to why we are not getting a new Friday the 13th film yet. But that's not what this video is about today. Today, I'm simply gonna tell you what I would do if I was making a new Friday the 13th movie and the storylines that I would wanna see. So let me know down below if you like it, if you think it sucks, keep your opinion to yourself. I'm just kidding. If you don't like it, that's cool, let me know. I'm not a writer. I'm just someone who enjoys movies and I spend so much time thinking about it. This is what I came up with. But before I do, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps out the channel tremendously. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. And remember, we are still doing our 1990s review series. I've just been out of it for so long that I gotta build the algorithm back up. So I'm doing a little bit more experimental stuff, like telling you guys what I would do for a new Friday the 13th movie. So let's jump into it. So I want this movie to start in the snow, right? Probably mid to late November, not quite December vibes yet. So there's a little bit of snow on the ground. There's not much. The films are supposed to take place in New Jersey, so it's definitely a colder time of year. We've seen Never Hike Alone and Never Hike in the Snow. Those are great fan films, but we need something a little bit different for a feature film for a Friday the 13th movie. So the movie starts off with a family of three. You got the husband, the wife, and the daughter. The mom and dad are talking about how they are buying this camp. Or at least a section of the camp. We don't know how big Crystal Lake is, right? So there's a section of the camp, or there's a section of the lake where this dad just had amazing memories and he wants to provide that experience to his daughter. It is a black family in my head, just to change things up. And we have not seen a black family be the stars of a Friday the 13th movie yet, so there's no DEI or equity and inclusion or anything like that. We just need something different, dude, and I think this would be cool. I think if you just make good characters, it's dope. So let's do it. So they have some money. We don't even really need to know how. We can flesh that out later, but they have money and he wants to buy this section of the camp, redo it, and then be able to give these great memories to his daughter that he had. So he's just going there for the weekend to go ahead and check up on his purchase. And we see that the daughter, she's a little bit more reserved. She's a little bit more sciencey. She, instead of going and playing in the water, she wants to look for bugs and catch them and study them because she's all into animals and stuff like that, right? So we get to the lake. We see that one side you have the cabins. It's a very much a camp, right? Camp Crystal Lake. And then you have a lake house. And at the lake house, that's being rented out for the weekend for this wedding party of early 20s people that are about to get married. They're getting married in the fall, but they're having get married in the spring, right? Because it already is fall. But they're just having a pre-party, an engagement party at this lake house. So it's the bridal party, it's the groomsmen, it's the bridesmaids, and you have this other final girl that we fall in love with. Let's call the little girl Anna, and let's call our other final girl Jenna, right? Just for whatever. So we got Anna and Jenna. Jenna is super sweet, everything you expect from a final girl, right? Typical final girl. She's got to have the dark brown hair because that's what they all have. Just super sweet, super kind, dealing with all of her friends who are super annoying. And Jenna's gonna be the maid of honor. She's not the bride. So you find out that, he doesn't have ownership of that part. The lake house has been rented out, but it's right by the camp, and they're pretty annoyed when they get there. So they start talking to the builders or the guys who are redoing it, and you have a group of two guys, and they're just talking. They're like, hey, sorry, we're just trying to do the best we can. We're trying to fix up this camp for you. We just haven't gotten there yet. But you have these two groups with two very different identities and two very different sets pushed together for a weekend. So the two contractors, they tell the dad, they're like, hey man, why don't you come over to our cabin for the night, hang out, get some guy time. And we see Jenna invite Anna. She's like, do you want to come over and like have some fun? Like just do a girls' night? So we see Jenna, Anna, and the mom. They're connecting because Jenna doesn't really want to do all the partying that the rest of the wedding party is doing. And that's where we get the total Friday the 13th package, right? You know, the whole Motley Crue, you know, Friday the 13th Part 4 lifestyle that they're all living. And they're gonna be some really horrible characters, so you want Jason to take them out, right? Like the bride is cheating with the great groomsmen, and there's a group of people in the wedding party that are just like overtly racist, so you want Jason to take them out too. Like just make them like really bad people. Anyway, so as the contractors and the dad are sitting there and they're hanging out having some guy time, he's like, hey, isn't this Camp Crystal Lake? Isn't like the stories of Jason and everything? And the two contractors just kind of look at each other and they start talking. They're like, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, this is Camp Crystal Lake. And no one's heard or seen of Jason in a very long time. And like, what happened? And he's like, dude, I've heard some crazy things. I've heard that he came back from the dead and killed some people in '86. I heard that he went to hell. I heard he went to space. And they're just like laughing. And he's like, yeah, that would be stupid, right? Jason went to space, what a dumb idea. And kind of just like have a little bit of humor in it. I want this to kind of have like a tone of like Friday the 13th Part 6, where it's a little bit funnier too, but you don't ever make fun of Jason. And they're talking about it and they just kind of admit, they're like, well, we don't really know what Jason is. You know, we've heard that he's some kind of vengeful monster brought back from the Book of the Dead. Right, referencing that Jason's a Deadite, you know, brought back from the Necronomicon. And as they're talking about it, he's like, as long as no one disturbs his home and he feels like he doesn't have to protect it, I think he's gonna lay dormant. So as long as we respect Camp Crystal Lake, I think we're okay. As they're talking about that and having that conversation, the wedding party's going crazy. They're drinking, smoking, sexing, doing all the things. And you see that the racist couple, they start fighting. They start having an argument. And he grabs her phone. He's a very abusive guy. He's just a horrible person. You can't wait for Jason to take him out. He grabs her phone and he chucks it out on the ice. And you know, she's like very like safely trying to navigate on the ice to go down and pick up her phone. And as she does, she sees something under the water. And she's like, or under the ice, and she's like, what's that? Bam! A hand comes up out of the ice, grabs her face, and just drags her right down. And then it's just calm and cool. And then we see the ice start to move and ice start to break. Boom, and you see his back come up and he starts walking out of the water and he's just holding her by her head and it just drops her and he sees the house and he just starts walking up and Jason is awakened. He has been revived. We don't even really need to know how. These movies don't make sense. They don't need to make sense. All we need to see is Jason at Camp Crystal Lake taking out teenagers or early 20s or whatever it is. So Jason's back and it's gonna be bad. But because these movies dominated the 1980s, I wanted a scene that like referenced the 80s. So it takes place in modern day, but have it be like, hey, you know what we thought would be fun? If we threw like an 80s theme party, you guys should come over tonight. So like Jenna and Anna and the mom, they're all planning this stuff, dude. And they come over and it's an 80s party, right? So you're referencing the decade that this film series dominated in. But then, like I said, Jason comes out, he dominates everybody. You have the section of characters that you think are horrible, you want Jason to take them all out, Jason takes them all out. And then you have the section of characters that you really care about, like the mom, like the dad, like the contractors, who are good people. And not only does Jason kill them, I thought it would be cool if when they died defending Jason and Anna. So those aren't just our final girls. Like, you know, yes, they survived, they're our final girls, they're gonna be tough, they're gonna be smart. You know, Anna, the little girl who knows animals and is so like, she's very intelligent. She uses her intelligence to win, and then Jenna is kind of the heart of it. And really the relationship between those two is really going to be the emotional connection of the film. And then you know, like I said, the contractors are giving their lives to make sure that these girls live. And I thought it'd be funny if like the contractor's like telling the story about like Jason going to hell or whatever, like right before he knows he's about to die, he's about to save fight Jason, he just grabs Jenna and kisses her, and his buddy's like, really dude? Like right now, you're doing that right now? He's like, I'm about to die from a potentially zombie supernatural killer. Like, yes, I'm gonna kiss this pretty girl. And he's like, you know what, man, I can't even be mad at you. And then like, you know, the two friends like fist bump, very Sean and Gus like. And then they go out and they die as best friends. The two contractors are best friends and they die, but die protecting these girls. Thought it'd be cool. The mom and the dad, they give themselves so that their daughter can live, and they trust Jenna with it. So we have our two final girls. I have no idea how the movie ends. Let me know if you guys have any ideas. I thought maybe we've seen Jason get defeated a bunch of times. Maybe this time they just escape. They just get in the car and they actually just leave Camp Crystal Lake, and the final shot of the movie is the same one that was the first shot of the movie. So the first shot of the movie, you see Anna in the car, and you know the camera is on her, and she's like looking up at the trees during the day, thinking about how she doesn't want to go to this camp. And then the final shot of the film is the same shot at night in the back of the car, looking at these trees going back, and all she wants to do is get away from this horrible camp that she never wanted to go to in the first place. But who knows? Maybe they do defeat Jason. Maybe they throw him back in the water and he freezes. Maybe they set him on fire. Who knows, man? Who knows what you can do? But anyway, that's as far as I got. You know, you got to have some great kill scenes. You got to have some scenes where Jason. Friday the 13th is known for its you know, carnage candy, as Cody Leach likes to say. I know a lot of people are disappointed with what we're getting, that we're not getting an actual Friday the 13th film, but that is my idea. If we got a new movie, if we actually had a studio greenlight it and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, that is what I would do. And we call it Friday the 13th Curse of Camp Blood or whatever it is. But that is all I got for today. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of my pitch for a new Friday the 13th movie? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know, man. I'm a big boy. I can take it if you don't like it. Is that a movie that you would actually want to see? Do you think that's something that they should go ahead and do? Will they listen to me? Probably not, but would it be cool? Sure would. Anyway, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps out the channel tremendously. And remember, I love you. Jesus loves you. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. See you guys.